Today we'll be talking about the decades of music. Here's my audience. First off, raise your hand if you like music. Okay. So there are 3 different decades and influential genres that have influenced many people and different cultures around the world throughout the time. My name is Cameron Allen, and I will be introducing the decades of music. I'll be introducing 70s rock, 90s alternative, and 2000s R&B. So first off, we have 70s rock. 70s rock shaped the rock music industry today by changing the way music is recorded through technology. Synthesizers became very popular, introduced by bands such as Pink Floyd and Genesis, which of those both introduced bad behavior in their music. Music festivals such as Woodstock canceled their venues just because of the bad behavior that these bands introduced into their audiences. The audiences took it so literal that due to riots, drugs, and crimes, many others other than Woodstock were canceled. Legendary rock bands, most of them are from the British descent, such as Black Sabbath, Elton John, The Who, and Led Zeppelin. In 1977, punk rock was introduced into the culture. Bands such as Sex Pistols and the Ramones both introduced the punk rock essential into the vibe. Next, we have 90s alternative. 90s alternative was kind of the edgy culture, the kind of vibe where it wasn't normal. It introduced edginess and included bands such as Green Day, Matchbox 20, and Offspring, etc. They had a mixture of hard and soft rock in their albums to where it was kind of a different dynamic. They wrote lyrics that could be related to and understood. They focused on their music as well, but it was mainly like the lyrics that they wrote. They came from underground. It kind of came out of nowhere. They weren't the norm. It was kind of, people liked them because of how different they were. So alternative is described as a non-mainstream culture, a vibe with, it's a punk rock with some edginess and a lot of difference. Next we have 2000s R&B. The 2000s R&B isn't so much the lyrics, but more of the feel using rhythm and beats. Usually when you think of R&B, you think of soothing, you think of laid back, like kind of bob your head type music. Usually smooth vocal arrangements are placed upon the rhythm and beats that are the 2000s R&B music genre. Vocalist in R&B is known for their melisma. In other words, their high voice and range, coming from low range to a high octave where you can kind of have a whole different dynamic. It helps create the feeling of smoothness and kind of soothes the soul in a way. It's one of the most popular music genres to ever be created, led by talented musicians such as Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Ne-Yo, Boyz II Men. This is kind of the feel-good music where whatever you feel is what you're going to interpret throughout this music. So the decades of music are all genres presented today. Change music through culture, through different dynamics and the decades. Created dynamic and range so that you, no matter what you're feeling, you have something to listen to. You have an alternative if you're feeling different. You have R&B if you want to feel good. You have hard rock if you want to bob your head and get into it. All of which are influential and soothing, depending on who you are and what kind of music you actually tend to vibe with. The therapeutic aspect, it helped a lot. Music is obviously a therapeutic thing in the world, and I feel like there's a lot of music being implemented in therapy nowadays. So when we think of music, we think of these main genres because of how important they were and how popular they were throughout the decades. So does anyone have any questions? So now that we know the decades of music and you know the most popular ones, maybe you have a different interpretation or maybe you have a different genre that you like, such as classical or any of that. But now that you know all these, I have a question, and that is, what is your favorite type of music genre? Thank you for listening. My name is Cameron Allen, Decades of Music.